readiness assessment. One way to accelerate migrations is to get people together to make decisions about the cloud, to make decisions about the strategy. Now the EBA is similar. What it does is, it uses the same concept of the MRA. They bring the stakeholders together to make decisions about an application, to make decisions about the roadmap of the application. That's the difference. So one area you're doing a cloud strategy and discovering the customer's maturity, that's the MRA. But the EBA focus on understanding the application roadmap, and migrating that or modernizing that application. But the concept is the same. They bring people together. And these people are normally supported by a leader. That means there's a leadership direction to move that application. There is the people areas, which is the cross-functional teams that support the application, the processes that the current application is running, the SOPs, and what is the new SOPs and operating model, and then the application itself, whether the application is suitable and how can it move, and the last one is the technical constraints around it. So the EBA helps you in one session address all of these 5 areas. Okay? So the reason why the EBA is effective is because everyone that is making decision about an application is in that room, in that session to execute it fast. So the decision making becomes faster. Now, the most important thing as a map partner that you need to be aware of, for when you wanted to accelerate discovery, you use MRA, right? You got people together, you accelerated the thing, you earn trust. If you want to accelerate your pilot migrations, you should try to use an EBA, especially if the teams are very distributed, they are not working together. And in many migrations, you go and talk to the infra guy, the fella never talk to the app guy, and it's your problem. You are not a marriage broker. You cannot make 2 people talk together. So you call them for an EBA and make them talk together. Okay, so just take note of this, right? It is for you to help you accelerate this engagement. Next slide. Now, the way that we will help you build this capability is, the first step is what we are doing today. We will do an enablement. We will share you some of the best practices, how to deliver an EBA, what are the resources, who to invite, what templates to use. So there's a construct that you can build into your migration and modernization practice. Then what we will do is, you will go out there and take 3 customers that you want to execute EBA for. Then we will form the 3 customers, we'll shortlist one, Sri, Sebastian, and the CSMs will follow you into that account to help you execute it, together with our tooling partners, depending on what tool you choose. Okay, there's no force to use a particular tool. You can choose whatever tool that you want, but I will advise you to pick the tool that is free, because I'm not paying for your EBA now. Okay, but there is some secret that is talking about, I keep telling this, there will be an EBA funding soon. Okay, so for those, why you need to pay attention, the EBA funding can go up to 50K. Okay, can go up to 50K. Just wait for the announcement, but just take note, you should try to build the capability so that you can enjoy that benefit. And it's stackable on top of the map. That is even better. That means it's additional on top of the map. Now the second thing that we will do is, we will go out there and execute it together. Once we execute this together at a customer, right, the next thing that we want to do is, we want you to take the learnings, right, and try to build it into practice and see for every migration, when it comes to pilot migrations, you will execute the EBA so you can quickly get that 50K MRR or the realized revenue, so that you can get your mobilized cash. Okay, that's how you should think about this, right? So this is something that you need to start to work on. We are going to help you, show you the easiest way to do it using the tools. Okay, and this mechanism, like I told you during the partner builder, if you never automate your migrations this year, you will be very sorry next year. Okay, you need to automate your migrations. EBA plus the tool will help you automate the migrations to the core. Okay, next one. Right, now, so this is how we plan to do. Okay, so first thing we'll do the enablement, then we will get the migration toolings embedded into your practice. You will use both of these together with the technical guidance that we have provided you in this session. And what we expect you to do, you need to execute EBAs. So you are told to nominate 3 EBAs, right? We will do one together, one we will reverse shadow. Okay? The last one, you please do together yourself. Okay? So you need to build capability to do yourself. Okay? This session that we want to do, for those who like to do manual migrations, you want to copy the instance all, please stop doing that. Please stop templating your containers and just powering up in AWS. Don't do any of that. Please, there is a very, very easy way to do this, and you will see through the tools. The tools that we are introducing doesn't just do the migrate phase. It does assess, mobilize, migrate, modernize, single tool. Okay? So it has that capability. And then also, we want you to earn the partner cash quicker. Okay? Like everyone say, okay, we put that 50K, the partner's not going to take the money quick, but I want you to earn the money quick. That's why we are teaching you the shortcuts. So please use these shortcuts to get that 50K quickly. Because if you don't get that money right, it's very bad because you cannot survive as a partner also. Right? So we want to help you get that partner cash. Next slide. This is yours, right? Okay, you want me to go? Okay, so first thing, now few important things that we need you to be aware of, okay? The current state of the business. So if you look at the current state of business, there's a strong demand of migration services in ASEAN. So there's a lot of partners when you go out there, they are very familiar with the AWS migration service, maybe not ATX, but they are not very familiar with the ISV programs and the ISV toolings. Okay, is that the problem, right? Correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, if you don't talk to me, I think we will extend the session until 6:30 today. Okay, Winky is not here, I'll just call him to take the next flight. Okay, and they also complain you have limited hands-on. So we brought the hands-on to you. Okay, so you cannot say after this, okay, please, because the hands-on is there, right? Please try it so that you can learn and you can go back. Now, I want to give you a stat. Thailand, Malaysia, they start after the EBA session, they already completed 2 EBAs each partner. And one partner did a migration for one of the largest customers in 45 days, end to end. Okay, so you know that this thing definitely works. Okay. Now, what we also want you to do is we want you to build practical skills. Okay, so we don't want to just talk about this is the theory and so on, but you don't know how to actually do it. So you want to actually do that. And the last and most important thing, I want you to stop using manual ways to migrate. I want you to start using the tools. These tools are very, very powerful. You will see it for yourself. Please have questions and ask them later. Next slide. Okay, so what happens after the EBA and what we are expecting you to do? So like I explained to you, you will have to nominate 3 customers. You already did that. So out of the 3 customers, we will pick one. We will do one together. We will do one reverse shadow, which means you will do, we will reverse shadow, we will ensure everything is correct. And the last one, you do it yourself. Okay? And then these customer names, right, that you pick, that you nominate, right, we will pick the best one to help you do it. So I will encourage you, if you got an immediate customer that wants to migrate in the next few months, right, immediately pick those ones. And also, don't think that it needs to be in the migrate and modernize phase. It can be in the mobilize phase where you bring the pilot migration. Those are the customers that you must pick immediately. And tell Sri, tell Sebastian, tell him who are they so that you can quickly do this. Now, EBAs need to have good planning. Later when Sri explains the process, right, you will know it's not very straightforward. It needs good planning. So you need to start early. After you have done that, right, after you have documented the process, we will scale this through your view. And AWS is trying to group a group of partners called EBA Accelerated Partners. These partners in future, for any stall migrations, we will pass the opportunity to you to do the EBA, but you need to build the capability first. Okay, so make sure you take this opportunity to build your capability. Now we will also have office hours. We will schedule them. What are these office hours? If you have questions around the EBA or you have challenges in the EBA, you can always contact us during these office hours, or you can directly just email us and we will support your opportunity. Okay? Okay, don't sleep, huh? I'm watching you. I need to hit the button. So I can watch you. Those who play the laptop, no funding for you.
It's not going to be you guys.
Welcome.
But it's a punishment for me.
If you're lucky you came, I just did 50K for all of them. Right. Okay, that's now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sri. So I'm part of the migration modernization SAP. So we work directly with the customer. Like Highline work with you guys, right? So migration. We work directly with one customer opportunities to help them migrate and modernize their workloads. So how many of you know EBA, or how many of you have gone through the conducted an EBA so far? Anyone? Oh, nice. Okay. Participant, I'll talk to you later. Okay. Good, good. So what is an EBA, right? He's sitting and watching for.
No.
You guys should find him.
You were more important.
Okay. So what is an EPA, right? So like Ahilan mentioned before, most of the migrations are stalled not because of technical issues. It's more of people process, right? And you guys execute migrations more than us. You are facing the customer doing it, so you know how it works. So the idea of an EBA is to basically create that organizational capability in terms of migration. So it could be technical or it could be process improvements, right? And then accelerate delivery, especially address those migrations which are stalled, and also empower builders, right? Get hands-on experience on toolings and all those. So there are different types of EBA. You see on the right-hand side, there are different EBA types. So EBA in short is called experience-based acceleration. I mean, the meaning is in the term itself, right? It's providing that experience for the activity that you're doing. And there are different types like Cloud Foundation. So Cloud Foundation is basically something that validates the landing zone. So you are helping a customer migrate. The first step is to create a landing zone. So you need to do a well-architected review of the landing zone before you start the migration. You can create an EPA party. So you bring all the stakeholders, networking, security, then do a well-architected review with them and close off that milestone. So that way you can do a Cloud Foundation EPA. Similarly, you have migration EPAs. So migration EPAs is plain lift and shift. So you have an application running on-premise. You take that application as is and run on AWS. Either Windows or Linux or SQL, those type of workflows. We have what we call modernization EBAs or MODAX. In short, it's called MODAX, but full name is Modernization Accelerator. So you have a customer who wants to migrate an application, but they don't want to do lift and shift. They are telling to you that we want to modernize the application. They want you to either run it on containers or move from a licensed database to a open source database, right? So that is where this EBA comes in. And then we have innovation EBA. If you have a customer who wants to showcase GenAI capabilities, they have a use case which they want to do as a POC. They try to invite Sebastian. He was here last month to do one of the innovation EBA based on GenAI. Bedrock is one of the customers, so we can probably give it 3 or 5 minutes view of what he has done, right? And then we have FinOps. So FinOps usually comes towards the later part, when the migration is completed, and then there is cost optimization comes in, and then you can use that EBA mechanism to do FinOps to optimize the cost.
So some of these EBAs, right, you need to know when to execute. Like Cloud Foundation, good time to execute is in the mobilize phase, right? migration modernization, you can execute in the mobilize phase, in the pilot migration, or in the migrate modernize phase. Okay, you can do either. When to use in the mobilize phase, if you want to build a repeatable model. Some customers told you, I want to focus on the mobilize first, build a repeatable plan for me so that I can do the migration myself. These is very suitable customers to do the EBA. Because you bring them together, you build a repeatable model together, okay, most likely after you do this, they will say, never mind, you do the migration also. Right? The second type of where you do in migrate and modernize phase, especially install migrations. So one migration not going fast enough, got a lot of hiccups because there's a lot of people issues. You bring people together to do the migrate and modernize phase. In the migrate and modernize phase, it is. Okay, so there's different requirements for both. Okay, it can be very big. Okay, for Gen AI, you can either do it for a POC within the mobilize phase, or you can do it in the migrate and modernize phase. Normally, it's done in the mobilize phase. For the FinOps, right? For customers that don't have purpose to move because they don't have a budget, you can position this in the SS phase together as part of the SS phase. Right? So you need to know when exactly to position this, because if you run a FinOps EBA, you can free up the budget, you can trigger a migration or a modernization. Okay? So you need to know when to achieve position for it to have the biggest effect. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like Ahilan said, this EBS comes in at different phases of a customer journey, right? So, first is the leadership alignment. After that, you do the cloud program launch. Migration acceleration is where things like cloud foundation, migration EB, all those comes in. Then you have optimization, then modernization. You can go to modernize. EBS innovation, and where the Gen AI EBS comes in, and then you can transfer. So again, where can you position EBS? It can come in as an accelerator between the assess and mobilize phase. So for example, you have done an assessment to a customer, right? But they are hesitant to move towards the mobilize phase. You can offer them an EBA saying that, okay, let's do an EBA, showcase the capabilities, whether migration or modernization. Then that will help you close or move that customer into mobilize phase. Similarly, you can, in the mobilize phase itself, you would have pilot applications which you are migrating. You can put EBAs there. You can do it for landing zone, security and compliance, all those you can use in EBA. Even for migrate and modernization phase, you can use EBA. So there are different phases where you can actually tactically position EBA. So use this as a tactical tool. Okay, it's very strategic. Okay.
Any questions?
There is a quiz coming up, so listen to this carefully. He has curated the questions. Okay, so again, going back to this statement, where do you position which EBS? So you can see portfolio party, platform party. So these are, in short, these are cloud foundation EBS. So when you want to do a well-architected review during the assess phase or the mobilize phase of your landing zone, right, you can position that. Then you have modernization party, which comes in usually at the migrate and modernize. Even the innovation comes in at migrate and modernize. You have migration parties that can happen across. So it can happen during the assess phase, mobilize phase, or migrate and modernize phase. And the FinOps comes in usually at the mid of the mobilize, where when you want to optimize the cost.
So, since some of you in the last time during partner builder, you say I never tell you a story, right? I'll tell you a story now. So there was one partner, right? They are very clever. Okay. What they did was the customer's requirement was to build a landing zone across 3 regions. Okay, and these, when I say regions, they have India, they have ASEAN, and they have I think it's Japan or Korea, one of it. Now they have 3 teams distributed across all 3. Now, let's just say you are the partner. How do you get all these 3 teams sit down together and decide things like landing zone. Because landing zone needs to spread across all three. So, good place, what they did was they ran the platform EBA, got the team members, core team members from all these regions to sit down together, and they actually briefed them on what is requirement, ran the landing zone assessment questionnaire, and built the landing zone. The idea of the EBA is to bring people together so that the common decisions can be made quickly. Right? If not, just imagine if you were to do this, you will have one interview session in India, one interview session in ASEAN, one more interview session in Korea. After the interview session, all three will be contradicting. You have to go back to ASEAN, Korea. This thing will go 3-4 months, and then no migration. Okay, that's hopefully you didn't sign the mobilized funding lah. Then 90 days finish already. Okay, so this is a good way how you can easily orchestrate.
Yeah, so what are the engagement model and responsibilities, right? So we have customer roles, so customer, especially executive sponsor. So you need to have a strong leadership buy-in from the customer, right? There has to be someone at the top who can help you pulling people together. So executive sponsor is very important. Then you have an EBA lead. These are different roles. So you don't have to map it back to one of you guys, but this will definitely evolve as you do the EBA. Then we have workstream leads. I'll talk about what workstreams are, workstream participants. So all these roles will come together to execute an EBA. So from the AWS side, so far on all the EBAs, we have done EBAs with partners as well, right? We provide all the technical guidance that is needed. So we have different roles within AWS that will come and help it. So what we want to do is we want to scale this. So eventually after enabling you guys, we expect even the AWS roles, right? You partners will take over and run those independently. You don't need help from our side to drive this EBs.
So if you notice one very similar thing to the MRA, right? What is the one thing? They always have an executive sponsor. MRA also has an executive sponsor because you need someone senior in the customer that drives this. So normally this will be like a cloud leader, okay, or maybe the CIO, right? And then you need someone who will manage the EBA because there is all the giants in their side, right? You need to bring them together. You cannot go to each one and sell in one, right? So the EBA lead will orchestrate it, right? How can you ask the CIO to do the orchestration? He will be asking you, do you think I can work? So that's why you need the EBA leader. So you need to remember this, the structure matters. And maybe you don't need to map it directly. One role can be owned by 2 people. There is leniency in the capability, but you need to understand the roles and responsibilities of all of these roles so that you can find the right candidates and the customer so that you can build the effectiveness of the EBA. Okay?
So this is a quick diagram of how an EBA party will look like, right? So you can see that there will be different teams. All of them will come together in one single room. So there will be application 1, platform. It varies from customer to customer depending on the roles the customer has within themselves, right? So you have like automation team. You have a command center. So command center is responsible for all the escalation. So I can give you an example, right? When you're doing a migration, how many times you have reached a stage where you did the migration, you might have missed a firewall rule, then you put in a request to open firewall rule. It has to go through a change management. That will take 1 week's time. So eventually you will roll back the migration, right? So what happens in an EBA is, if any sort of those roadblocks comes in, the command center is responsible to make sure it gets executed faster. So that is where we talked about the leadership buy-in. So the leadership will say that, okay, you provide some sort of excuse that you can go and open the firewall. So that migration doesn't get blocked. So the network team will open the firewall rule and you don't have to roll back. So this all happens within like 2 to 3 days of workshop with all the teams together. Okay? And it really, really works. So that's like what Ahilan said.
So they did this in Thailand, right? I told you, right? 45 days completed the migration. In fact, the tooling partner is also here. Velometal is the tooling partner, right? So just take note, right? The reason why this is workable, the number one reason is because the key stakeholders to move the application is within the same group, and they can make immediate decision on how to move the thing. If you look at one of the biggest problems in migration is the process alignment. It takes time because of the process. Because I have to open a firewall tool, it takes me 3 days. After the 3 days, it's the weekend. Tidur lagi. Okay? Then wake up on Monday. By the time Monday, still need to go. So Tuesday, Wednesday, that Wednesday start. Forgot another thing. Forgot one SSH port. Another round of change request. That's how the delay is. So rather than having all these problems, sit down together, sort it out one go. Right? And if you want your 50K MRR or realized revenue quickly, this is one of the mechanisms that you must put into your practice so that you can get them to work quickly. And you can build, you don't need to take to call it EBA. You just need to take the work structure and the tools and make sure it's practiced in a same mechanism, you're fine. Take the knowledge, re-adapt it into your practice so that it brings accelerated benefits to you. I want you to get a 50K cash. I do not know whether you want the money, but if you don't want, let me know, okay? You can cancel some of the funding as well.
So why EBA for partners? Improve performance. I think Ahilan covered most of this. Faster time to value for customers, you will get increased revenue. Differentiate as a strategic advisor, then you can have a quality pipeline. And once you have this done, you can create a repeatable pattern. You can experiment with multiple customers. Okay, so now let's go to how we execute an EBA, right? Okay, so when is EBA a good fit? When there is a strong executive support for migration and normalization. You have applications under consideration that can deliver critical business value to the customer. Long-term potential, significant backlog. So like Ahilan said, that the customer that they executed had 1,000 plus virtual machines to migrate, right? So there was a strong pipeline or a strong backlog of migration. An outcome that is at risk, like stall migrations. You have a data center exit timeline. Now we need to change the data center to VMware exit timeline. I think most of you guys are seeing that from the customer side, right? They have to renew the VMware licenses, so they are asking how fast can you move my workload cloud. So if you have those scenarios, you can try EBAs. Slow decision-making process, like Ahilan said, change management takes longer time. Blocked or stall customers, little organization capability, they don't have CCOE, they don't have cloud capabilities. Even there are instances where, so some of the migrations, right, you might not be executing 100% of migration. So the customer may say, you execute 20%, rest you enable the in-house team so they can continue. So you can use migrate this as a mechanism to enable the customer on tools and all which they can continue. That brings in trust between you and the customer. And then, especially like I said, during the assess phase, there is a stall in terms of moving to mobilize phase. You can showcase your capabilities through an EBA. So that will help the customer take confidence.
So the first thing that you need to remember is this slide number 29. Okay, write it down somewhere. You need to make this into a checklist. Every time when you see a customer, you need to check whether they have these criteria or not. You see whether this is a suitable customer to execute the EBA. Now the three nominees that you put, I would advise you to go check this thing whether they meet the criteria. Is there a reason? If there is no reason, right, please don't execute it. Right? You're wasting everybody's time. Okay, you should have a reason why you want to do it. Okay, these are the criteria that you want to focus on.